everyone, Cheek here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers 1 Studio Series 114 Megatron. And he is a decent figure, I'd say, not as good as the Studio Series Orion packs that they released, but he is cool enough, I suppose. I think his body, for the most part, is pretty accurate to how it was in the movie once he got upgraded. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be once he got Megatronus's T-Cog from Sentinel, but I'm not exactly sure. I think it's somewhere around that time frame. Anyway, let's take a closer look at him. His noggin is the biggest area that I have to complain about. Not that it doesn't look good, it just feels, it's obviously Megatron and all that, but it doesn't seem to me to be very screen accurate. Hopefully the Leader Class Studio Series Megatron will be better, but I'm honestly not sure. It feels a little off to me, but that could just be me, but that's the impression I get anyway. For comparison, let's go ahead and bring in Studio Series Orion packs and Optimus. I honestly wasn't expecting to see him out when I did. Got him, I think, 2 or 3 weeks after I found him, or maybe a little bit longer. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe about 3 weeks since I've seen the movie. Now, as far as the release date of this video, it's probably going to be a bit later. Yes, I know I make most of my videos before I release them because of work and all that, but I digress. But yeah, I feel like he feels sturdier to a degree, except for that waist part. But I will say has more heft. There we go. He's pretty sturdy for the most part, as far as, like, there's nothing loose, like shake, 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 no rattling at all. I will say the tank mode treads have no rolly wheels at all, which does kind of irk me a little bit. He does have a few other weapons. He does have the 2 little side guns for the tank mode, and then he has the barrel for the tank gun, which can go on his forearm. You can either have it like that, or you can have it facing like this. I feel like this looks better as far as, like, if you're wanting to be a handgun. And then you can, of course, put these on his forearm if you want, and then you can also put them in his hands, or you can put them on the backpack, which doesn't come attached on him in the packaging. He doesn't have it on at all, and you just pretty much just put it on, and then he has his backpack. I think he's, like I said, I think he's fairly good, except for the face. The face is just weird to me. The gun, the fusion cannon, I think, is about the way it looked in the movie. It does seem a little bit small, but it also has to be a tank barrel, so I think that's why it's not as big. There is some things that seem to kind of allude to G1 Megatron, with the hammer for the gun just being kind of a little bit of the motif up there. The colors, I think, remind me of War for Cybertron Megatron just a little bit. I will say, with it being Studio Series, I wish they had put the kind of mangled looking Decepticon emblem or Megatronus's symbol that Sentinel, pretty much welded into his chest. That one, not the full Decepticon emblem, because obviously that is an post-credit scene where that happens. So if this is supposed to be, when he's fighting everyone else, or fighting, Sentinel and all that, I feel like that would have been appropriate to have there rather than just leaving a big blank. I'm sure Repro Labels will do something at some point, but I don't know if I care that much about it to do that. It's just something I noticed. Articulation. Head is on a ball joint, but he doesn't look up and down very much. He can look down, but that's if you do the transformation thing. Head can do a full 360. Arms can go out that far and do a full 360. Bicep rotation. This one's pretty loose. This one is fairly stiff. Over 90 degree bend at the elbow, but that it does allow for transformation, but it taps in right there. And you get wrist rotation. The fists, if you look at them closely, it seems to remind me just a little bit of the aesthetic of the way the hands look in there. In the movie, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems a little bit different than the focus. Looks a little bit different than the standard hands. Obviously, you can see some of the treads for tank mode right there, but it's not the end of the world. You get waist rotation. Legs can go forward that far, back that far. He does not have thigh rotation, really. I mean, he gets a little bit with the ball joints, and then he has knee rotation, but that's more for transformation. But it's Studio Series. I would have thought that they would have, made sure they had proper thigh rotation, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. Then at the knee, it does kind of snap in. I don't know why they do it that way, but clicks into place and then gets a little over 90-degree bend there. And then he does have ankle tiltage. And then you can also move his feet, not much forward, but you can move them back a little bit for posability. He does feel a little bit long in the legs, but I'm sure that's probably how he was in the movie. He seems a little scrawny, just a little bit, which makes me wonder if possibly this is Megatron before he put Megatronus's T-Cog in him, but I can't be exactly certain on that because I've only seen the movie once. Don't get me wrong, I do want to see it some more, but I kind of want to wait until it gets out of theaters, I think, to do that. And here we have him in his tank mode, and I think he looks pretty cool for the most part, but it feels like they sacrificed a lot for the robot mode. Biggest complaint is that the turret is not pinned in, it's just, friction in, and then the head, that's one of those things where, like I said about for Orion, like how the visible hands, it's a Cybertronian mode. They're not really trying to disguise themselves. It's just a way to, have a upper hand on the battlefield or to make their lives easier in general. So, I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but I just feel like it's a little skimpy up in here, which also makes me feel like this could potentially be Megatronus or Megatron or D16 before he became full-on Megatron, like before he got the T-Cog, but I don't know. But yeah, this is how it shows him on the box, and I will say it makes it look a little less dinky because I will say the barrel on here does look a bit smallish, especially considering how big and flared out the front is. I will say that if I remember right, that is kind of how it looked in the movie, so that I'd say that's pretty accurate. I'm sure this tank mode is fairly accurate, but I really hope that the vehicle modes, or not the vehicle modes, that the leader class Studio Series Megatron and Optimus Prime from this movie are significantly better than their deluxe counterparts. I don't know how big they're going to be, and I'm assuming that they're going to be more in scale with the other Transformers 1 figures that they're making. I'm sure that the leader class are supposed to be in scale with the deluxe class of the rest of the characters, like Elita 1, Sentinel, and Sentinel I think is going to be Voyager, so I think they're going to be in scale with one another, and then I'm sure we're going to get a Studio Series Bumblebee at some point. Anyway, before I wrap this up, let's go ahead and bring in Optimus Prime, see how they look together. I think they look pretty decent together. I feel like they're good counterparts, and if you never get the leader class ones, which I may or may not, I'm knowing me as being a YouTuber, reviewer, and all that, I'm sure if I get the opportunity, I am definitely going to get them. Although I think they, at least Optimus, I know he sold out like almost immediately for pre-order. Megatron, he might still be available, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look again. But I think they look pretty decent together. But yeah, so that's pretty much about it for Transformers Studio Series Megatron, and from Transformers 1, obviously. And if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.